Welcome back to a little bit of hardcore Grim Dawn, QuestySparks, Lightning and Disease, you know how it goes. And I just recorded the last episode, so here we are again, ready to go. I'm still trying options for the video. I just took a quick look at what I got out of the last video. It's even worse dog shit than the one before it. And what I tried to do here is I was using just, the record the screen instead of record the game feed directly because that worked with another game I'm getting ready. Didn't really work with this one. I tried, clamping the game down to 60 frames per second to coincide with what I'm recording at. That definitely didn't seem to work. So we're using a different method now. We're reining the game down to 60 frames with the recording from in-game. It doesn't matter. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just trying different options, and we'll see what we get. But what we will get, no matter how many times you vomit on your keyboard watching this, if anyone ever watches this, is choppiness or no, we're going to go out and get ourselves the next level, which is going to unlock the storm totems, and we're finally going to start doing what we plan to do with this build. And I'm going to stop poking into every little area. I'm going to try to catch the important things on this first run through, but really, we're at veteran difficulty right now because I don't have the hardcore unlock to start at elite. So I kind of want to get there. We are already getting our levels a little ahead of where we should be. And so I'm going to start pressing ahead a little bit. Not crazy. I'm not going to start trying to speed run through stuff, but we are going to try to move forward a bit. So without further ado, let's do that. Move forward, start pushing our way through the village. We do have something we want to grab here, this little lectern here. We've got some cultist orders. Now, if you'll remember, we have encountered these blood cultists, and they are assholes. So we've been murdering them as we should, but we're gonna go and confront a traitor because he obviously ran away from this and has left behind incriminating evidence, probably thinking no one would ever find it. Instead, we are going to go and slaughter him. But we'll do that in a minute. First, let's climb through town here a little bit. You can see that we are piling on the XP, so we're going to have this next level in no time, and I, for one, am pretty excited to start electrocuting people with sticks in the ground. It's going to be great. Again, probably. I don't know if it's going to be great. It might be great. We'll see. Or I might hate it. In which case, start a new character. That's the good thing. There's so many different things we can try. I guess the other thing to say, though, is if I end up in a scenario where I just am, too dumb to figure out how to get this to record smoothly, I'm probably not going to continue with it if I can't get at least some kind of video quality going on, because, I wouldn't watch the shit that I recorded the last couple episodes. So I can't imagine why other people would. And I guess that's not really like my point isn't really to have a lot of people watch these. My point is just to actually use them as kind of something to just entertain myself while I'm doing some gaming, and to try to, this game I play it all the time anyway, but really it's about clearing my backlog in Steam and GOG of games by setting up some kind of let's play structure around them so that I actually just start and finish games. I am terrible for that. I always start something, I'll see something on a sale, I'll be like, oh man, I want to check that out. I might even install it at some point, and then you'll just see like, oh, minutes played, 10 minutes, and I'll never touch it again. Not because I didn't like it, but just because I lost interest or something. Something else caught my eye. So I figured like, hey, this is a good way to just try to put together some structure around it. One of the other things that might be, and this goes back to a story that I won't recap about me potentially fucking up my motherboard on this computer. Problems persist from the early episode's tale, but I just got my new motherboard today. Thermal compound came in. The fans that I want to set up to improve the thermal situation, reduce noise, came in. And last week, I almost got the new case. So close. It was within about 20 kilometers of my house. And then I got a message, like in the tracker on my phone, just said missed connection, error. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, if it's there, I will drive over and grab that shit right now. But you know, I figured out what the hell, right? Like it was a Friday, and I figured that they'll probably just like hook it up on Monday and go. And instead, when I looked today to see where it was at, and it basically just said delivery error. So I don't know what's gonna happen with that. I'm a little pissed about that. Maybe somebody got themselves a nice new case. Somebody else probably had some thermal issues and wanted a lower noise setup. Well, enjoy my fucking case, you bastards. But needless to say, that might also be something, you know, like I have been seeing some performance issues because one of the problems with what happened to my motherboard is that like I can't even enable XMP profile and stuff like that. So performance has been spotty, you know. I've been getting a lot of stutter in games with large with large texture sizes and stuff like that, which normally it wouldn't be a big deal, but I think there's probably something going on there with the main board. So maybe when I get my computer up and running, I will be able to somehow get this going a little better. You know, if it's having problems with memory or something like that, problems moving large amounts of data, well, capturing video is exactly that, right? So it could be what's going on. We'll find out. Is any of this stuff useful? No, we already have this. We're level 19. We're just about to hit 20. We're probably not going to get too carried away looking for items in our stash. But 25, we'll probably do sort of a 20 to 25 item search. And we're probably also going to get a relic into this slot here. They are very good early on. One of the, you know, we might go with a corruption. You'll love corruption. It does what Bloody Pox does, but it uses poison damage instead of bleed damage. And it's a chance on being hit. So basically, you know, when these little assholes are hitting me, they have a chance of becoming infected. And it's fantastic when a ranged attack hits you and then you just hear the sound of pulsing damage off in the distance and the shrieks of dying enemies. And you're like, yep, that's what I like to see. I like to arrive when they're already just sort of bubbling corpses on the ground. It's the optimal way to do things. Oh, decision time. Risk or no risk. This is actually the same. I think possibly earlier on we went to a spot in another garbage dump and fought a poison dog. They have some monster unique rares. So they're generally worth killing. We're gonna try it, and we can hopefully jump back out the door if we don't have enough damage, but so far we haven't really been struggling with damage, so I think we're probably gonna be fine in here, especially with having a totem at our feet. It's probably gonna keep us in the fight here. We do have a potion cooled down, lined up. The Estus flask is good to go. So if we have to, we've got some healing as well. You see, these guys are dying fast, though. We're in good shape. I'm feeling good. Ooh, look at this. This is a rare spawn, actually. That's not always there. Okay, so here's this prick here. This guy's actually pretty dangerous. Look at my health bar. Yeah, that was no fun right there. But what we're going to try to do is we're going to just try to protect ourselves from those big ground effects that he puts out by just kind of kiting him around this central island. And we're going to hook him up with... We're going to hook him up with these damage over time features that we have. Features. I love that. Just like slapping the hood on this character. Like, yep. This will give you a nice eyeball bleeding disease. You'd be amazed how many typhoids we can store in this baby. Okay, we're losing our little tank here, but he's doing good work. I keep forgetting I don't have a mobility skill on this character yet, and it's kind of screwing me up when I tap a button to sort of rift tear across the room and just stand there like a fucking idiot looking at something. This is a genuine tough enemy, though. I mean, especially if you're melee, these things are like, you know, this is a dangerous domain. We have modifiers and everything on it. You can get your ass killed if you're a melee character in the early game doing this. I could get my ass killed doing this. I mean, look at my health bar. It bounces every once in a while. But the ticket is to just use terrain on this guy. His real big hits are all of his sort of those range poison attacks that he does. Those are the things that are going to fuck you. So you basically just want to use the terrain to make sure he's not getting you. Okay, so this is what I was interested in here. This is essentially a named, like a monster infrequent. These are usually really good. I mean, you know, a lot of these you'll sort of farm them up off of a boss to just get your hands on something like that for certain builds. You know, they have a lot of abilities on them. They're usually pretty handy. Now this guy too, you'll often run out of here without noticing this. This is the stash, right? So both of the caves that have these guys in them, you want to check this out. And this is exactly why you want to check this out. I mean, these are just good no matter what, right? Like 8% all damage and 163 health. Level 23, it's not great. If you have something specific for your build, that's going to be better, but that ain't bad either, right? These are good little dungeons. They're a little bit challenging. They can kill your character, but you know, not if you're careful. All right, so now this is yet another thing. Forsaken Savage Totem. This could kill my character. But again, I'm not a wise man, so here we go. Okay, this actually could kill my character. When you see these little crayfish guys, they can actually be really fucking annoying because when they die, they leave a patch of acid and it is really hard on your minions. And really hard on you if you stand in it too. And also they can summon, there's one, I think the totem itself is blue, but it actually summons like a ghostly version of these guys and they do cold damage. They can freeze you in place and basically just end your fucking day, right? Because you can't react. That one was pretty straightforward. Again, though, you can see here, like these pools, they're no bueno. We have like really shit resistance as well, so it's just not something you want to deal with. Okay, but folks, here it is. Not that. That was not very exciting. But this is going to be exciting. See, we've just left this shit pretty low down except for that. But this is where it all gets good. One additional point in Shaman. But I'm not going to do it right away because I have something in mind. But we're going to go do that right away. We're heading back and we're going to do a respec as well as leveling up into that. Reason being, I would like to launch that skill with a few more points devoted to it. Now, our thorny boy here, this guy, it's one of my favorite minions. But buddy, we're going to call it quits. Actually, wait. Yep, buddy, we're going to call it quits. There's not enough points in that other minion. You are getting kicked out of the party. And we are going to change you over to... Oh, hello. You want some fabric? I'll bring you some fabric. We'll pick that up in the village. All right. So, here it is. Respecking. It's very simple. We're going to pull it out of this. There we go. Yeah, it was 4 points. We've recovered 4 points for a total of 7 with that level. And now here we go. We're going to get 1 more point. Unlock Storm Totem and drop 6 points into it immediately. Now you look at the amount of damage it's going to do. Affects up to 4 targets, up to 439 damage with electrocute damage over time. That's good enough at this level. This is going to do some stuff. Now the one place that this might let us down a little bit is when we're facing a single target. Excuse me while I try to swallow my own tongue. What you saw there in that last fight, it was a pretty tough opponent. But what I was doing with that is I was basically, saving myself the trouble by just, okay, so we're going to Storm Totem here. We're just going to put it into our quick rotation there. And we're going to keep our Wendigo Totem in the same spot. Now, Curse of Frailty is something that we're probably always going to lead off with. And if we're going to give up one of our, because we don't, one of the things we don't want to do, this is not MMO territory. We don't want a million different skills on the hotbar. And actually what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to ditch Grasping Vines entirely. It's too many skills on the rotation. We don't want to spend the points on it. We're never going to develop it. We might come back into that at some point if we need something else to just proc attacks, right? And we'll talk about that later as we started to develop things. But right now, I don't think it's a great choice. I'd rather maybe have that point just in here and just increase our energy regen. but we're going to get an immediate test on whether or not this actually works out. So our rotation now is we're basically going to curse them, pox them, slap down storm totems. Actually, you know what? For some reason, this button here I always feel is like my primary attack. I wonder if I should do it this way. I wonder if this will be better for the muscle memory. It might be. We'll see. It's always a mess when you change your skills. Okay, so you'll recall when we were in the village last time, this time, don't remember. We found cultist orders right here. Now, what this does is it implicates this guy right here as being a traitor. This guy here brought the cultists in. Shit like that. We're not having it. Your schemes are finished and your life is forfeit, you fuckwit. Alright, so here, let's see if we can take him out. Not talk to that guy. Alright, so now we can summon more than one storm totem, but we are on a timer. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that electrocuted him. We got 2 storm totems out. As you can see, we do have that casting cooldown on it, so we can't slap him down just immediately. It's 3.9 seconds. We're going to start to wear that down by improving our skill cooldown reduction. But yeah, okay, that went okay. Didn't really feel any problems there. But he was also very easy to kill. He's not like a tough elite or anything. I trusted. See, yeah, so he was sabotaging some shit around here. But now we can just throw his carcass on the pile and keep going. All right, so let's get out there and spend the next 15 minutes or so testing out the actual build that we're trying to do. And see how we feel about it. I hope it's going to be good. I know that with most of these things, you know, looking at this here right now, it has, you know, it can target up to 4 targets, doesn't do a ton of damage. Lives for 14 seconds. That's actually a long time. That's really good. That's going to get probably better over time. And I know that there's some items that we can probably get our hands on that allow us to put out more of them. And that's going to be really good as well. So we just kind of create large regions of damage that enemies are not going to want to have fun in. See, there we go. It's doing its work. It's electrocuting. Not bad. We'll see how it all works out. This is the fabric for that quest we just took. They have a little, you know, loot highlight here, but if you just search this village, you're going to find them. All right, so let's get our curses down. The curse is something that we're going to go into a little bit heavier. And also, once we enhance that curse of frailty, it'll also debuff their elemental resistance. So then it's gonna reduce their resistance to both the pox and the lightning. But as you can see, we're certainly not suffering right now in terms of how our attacks are dealing with the enemy. But the curse is something that we need to get some points into because obviously it's not hitting that many people right now, and we kind of want it to sort of propagate through the groups and give us maximized damage on everyone. And we also want to increase the slowing effect. We can get the enemy down to about 50% move speed with that curse. And so it's an ideal opening move. Just to sort of make it so their response to you is a lot more labored and they're taking a lot more damage from our abilities. So we are going to be going for that. Let's get ourselves that sweet lore bonus. The Geordie LaForge Reading Rainbow Experience bonus. All right. Pop down another totem here. Yeah, this has promise. This has promise. I can see getting stacked on because the reason I kind of wanted to do this is because I actually had a number of items that I've gotten in other playthroughs that buff this skill and just buff lightning in general, and it's not something that I normally use. One of my favorite characters, and I probably talked about it before, but one of my favorite characters was actually a Ether Ray that I had converted the damage to almost primarily lightning. You know, it had changed color to be blue and everything like that. And I was using that with an Inquisitor and using Stormbox as well. And my God, man, it was just rolling lightning storms, devastation, just incredible group devastation, but also pretty flimsy. You know, I was relying entirely on sort of using the pulsating gem offhand that allowed me to get life recovery from my ether ray. But you know, the moment that, you know, I tried to stack on some stun resistance and stuff like that, because the moment that somebody tapped me on the beak and I got stunned for a second and that life drain stopped, yeah, bad times, terrible times, the worst times. All right, yeah, here we go. This is working. I certainly don't. I think the bulk of the work is probably still being done by Bloody Pox, and that's okay. Bloody Pox is a good one for this stage of the game. But those lightning totems are probably going to do work. I can feel it coming. It's going to be nice. I can feel a storm coming, I guess you could say. The knees acting up. All right, so we've gotten ourselves... I don't think there's a way to transit over here, except that I'm looking right at it, and I just missed it while I was there. Okay, so there is a way to transit. I was going to warp over to the village waypoint, which is still viable, but let's go this way instead. Come on, Raven, keep up. You got wings, you got no excuses. All right, here we go. So we're in the other part of the village, and ooh, look what I see. Look at this. This is pretty nice. That's some good propagation through the enemy there. Yeah, look at that. Look at that nice arcing. I love it. This is exactly what I had literally never used a storm totem before. So I was kind of hoping that that's what we would get. We'd get that nice lightning arcing through the opponents and stuff like that. Looks like that's what we're getting. This build could be pretty fun. I'm excited. All right, let's get ourselves another point here. I think we're actually pretty close to completing a constellation as well, so that would be nice. All right. Despise status with the ethereals. I might have talked about it, but getting those negative factions as well. This is actually really useful. Basically, when you unlock these negative levels, you can see additional hero spawns. That means you're going to get extra spawns. That's going to increase pack size. So that's what we've just unlocked with them. And then extra hero spawns means we're going to get more of those stars. You know, with the special drops and whatnot. And then of course here, Nemesis spawns. So that's going to be more for endgame. So there's bonuses to repping up, and there's bonuses to repping down. So it's something to do there. All right, let's drop over to the devotions. And yeah, I was right. We are up on this now. This is something that we are probably actually going to retcon, because we were taking this in order to have pet carry in the early game, and that would be focused around having out our Briarthorn, which we've gotten rid of. So we can probably find something a lot smarter to do with our points now that we no longer need a pet and have made our way up. So for example, we could head over here and check out lightning damage. So this is giving us cold and lightning here. The only thing that this is still a bonus for is we still have that Raven out, but we've literally got 1 point in the Raven. Like, he might not be long for this world. Now the thing is that if we do damage that both, you see like down here, like specifically the Raven, this would actually be a pretty good constellation for us to get, because it's going to give both us and the Raven some extra damage. Right? So it gives us spirit, offensive ability, energy regen, and crucially here, it gives him more lightning damage. That said, that's not much of a bonus, you know? So I'm thinking that possibly getting down here and doing more elemental damage might be good. We're also going to want bleed damage, because we're going to want to keep stacking our Bloody Pox. So this is going to be a little interesting to figure out what we really want to do with our points here, because we're a little bit hybrid, right? The lightning we're going to want and the bleed we're going to want. Now obviously over here, you know, Tempest, we're clearly going to want to move out into this area here, and basically get out into the far side of this and build our lightning damage up a shit ton. Spear of the Heavens. Now this is actually going to be fun because I haven't built a character like this, so a lot of these I haven't really bothered looking at very much. But we will end up looking at them. So now for this, for example, is something we want, and so is this. So we're going to need 5 purple, which we are on track for, and 5 blue. But something like this might be a good early start. Just something to get lightning damage on the table. But by the same token, bleed damage might be a good one as well, just because we are really relying a lot on bloody pox. And this does carry pet damage with it. Lots of bleed, a little bit of pet. Possibly pretty good for us. Now, something we might discover as we play here, and it'll also give us some purple points, which is something that we're going to want for this as well, right? So we kind of want to coordinate it so that our completed constellation bonuses are having a bit of payout for us as well. But one thing I might do here, yeah, see, like I was just saying, we want to make sure that our payout is good. This one is a great early game one, especially to combine with Bloody Pox because it procs all the time and it gives you health return. So it's nice. Of course, Fox is just really good for our bleed damage as well. Maybe what we'll do is we'll respec out of Shepherd's Crook because pets are not going to be the focus here. So this was very early game. This was just to make our pets a little more useful, and also to get a little health and cunning for ourselves. But I think what we should probably do, respec out of this. So let's head back. I'm just standing here yammering at you, so we may as well head back, respec those points, and then we'll decide what we're going to do with them. But probably what we'll end up doing, if we're going to be doing this hybrid and 2 damage types, which sometimes isn't a great idea, but we'll see. You know, we can always fuck around with it. We'll recover those points, which is just as simple as what you saw me do with my skills there. So we're just going to pull those points out. We're actually going to... Well, we can't pull this one out. Yeah, so this unlock, I don't... Oh, yeah, we can. Okay, there we go. Nice. All right. So, yeah, so there we go. We've got our devotion points back. We can respec this. So we're probably going to want to do bleed damage right off the bat. It just makes sense, right? You know, that Bloody Pox is really carrying a lot of weight for us. And then once we have our first constellation in that, we might just alternate, get a little bit of lightning, a little bit of bleed, a little bit of lightning, and we'll see where it goes. And down the road, we might end up scaling one or the other back and going from there. So what we might want to do initially is we're either going to choose this or we're going to choose this. And for me, for my money, getting Twin Fangs up is just a really good early game thing to do. So we are going to go and unlock green. And then unlock this and then tap that onto Bloody Pox. And you're going to see how this works right away. So that's perfect point count. Let's get back out there and test this out. Although... You know what? Let's go a little bit long. Let's go a little bit long on this one. 28 minutes. I was going to hang it up here, but I think we'll go a bit long, and we'll see if we can get ourselves into the next waypoint. Now, I do want to go down here. There's going to be a quest there. You can see the Inventor's Apprentice is hiding down the basement here. So let's go down and test our abilities out. Okay, so now what you're going to see, you see that? That's those Twin Fangs proccing right away. And they give me really good health return, and they're penetrating as well. You know, I was talking about ranged weapons over penetrating. Well, they automatically do that. So they run through the enemy and they return a bunch of health to me. Really useful right off the bat. And you could tell there that elite as well, he was having no fun at all with this damage output that I have. So I think we're on the right track here. Our Bloody Pox is doing work right now, and it's just so effective once you stack it up. And then, you know, when something is giving us a little extra trouble, we're going to be able to lay down a little field of totems around it. Plant our stakes. Every now and then you got to club somebody to death just to, you know, show that you're still paying attention. All right, so we just rescued the Apprentice there, so that's good. Now we're going to have access to the ability to recover and change the augments that we're adding to items. You know, like our little add-ons here. We can now manipulate that because we've recovered her. But we are going to try to press ahead and get the next waypoint, which is going to be in Warden Krieg's basement. All right. And that, I believe, is just up the road this way. Probably. Man, I am such a sucker for being able to just drop off damage and wander off. Feels so good. I'm all about builds that just sort of, not like automate, not like some shit mobile game, you know, where you don't do anything. You just kind of like open your loyalty reward bonus packs or whatever, and then, you know, don't pay any attention to the game and it just plays itself. But I mean, setting it up so that your character just kind of auto murders. I love that. Like I have a pyromancer in softcore that is, I think, I don't know, like level 80 or something like that. And it is so ridiculous. Like the moment that an enemy comes near, it starts auto attacking. Like there's arcs and damage and auras and stuff that kick in. Oh, let's go talk to this guy here. So this dude, if you'll notice, that's not a kid. That's a doll. And he's in here talking to it. You can aggro him real easily. But you know what? Sometimes you just gotta let crazy do as crazy does. And so we're basically going to pick some dialogue options here that are not going to force us to kill him. So we'll just ask him if he's been here the whole time, and he says he has. So we can just ask him about the area. We can ask him these things. This one might provoke him. I'm not sure. So we're just going to ask him about the area, and he's actually going to tell us that there's a hidden passage under the bridge. So that's a secret area we're gonna cut into next time. But for now, we're not going to bother. We're going to keep moving here. And I think we're good to go. We just need to get through. Actually, we need to go through this building here. Through this little courtyard. I like how characters in these, they don't open doors. They smash doors. That's the only way to go through them. Like the dwarf in the Pathfinder campaign that I'm in right now. He basically has a hammer, and he just like kind of refers to it as his skeleton key. He's awful for property values. We kind of joke about the fact that, you know, around the house, he's basically had to replace all his doors with bead curtains, you know, just to keep the cost under control. All right, so anyway, this here is Warden Krieg's house. And you can see that we are in an absolute... Oh, look at this. Does this not feel good? Can you not tell how satisfying this is? Like, everyone in this house is dying and I'm not even there yet. Fuck, I love it. Bloody Pox, man. It is too satisfying. Like, you'll come to rely on it and then you'll fight some skeletons and they'll just sit there, like, poking you in the eyes because there's fuck all you can do about it. Bones don't bleed very well in this game. Unfair if you ask me, but it's the way it is. But as you can see, there's also just a shower of lore around here. Basically, this is where you get a good little dump of what's been going on in the town and how Warden Krieg interacts with it. So let's throw this next level into play as well. You can see that I'm just focusing on spirit. That might be a dumb move. We'll see. But you can also fuss this around. We'll get a potion later that lets us do that. And now getting back to the build, right? So we got 6 out of 16. This is already starting to do some damage, but we are in a stage now where we want to start looking around and figuring out what we want to do. Now, the other thing that we are going to do with this is we're going to summon wind devils. This is going to be something that I want to do. Now, basically, there's a 3 summon limit on these wind devils. They don't live for a long time. They live for 18 seconds. But they just sort of hover over an enemy and they do damage, right? And as you can see, they also disrupt the enemy's ability to fight, so it can impair their aim. This is something that we are going to spec into. I don't know if we're going to spec into it right away. Now, this is what I was talking about. They scale with my bonuses. So as I start building lightning bonuses, these guys here are inflicting electrocute on the enemy. So as I build, well, electrocute's technically a different bonus, but I'm going to build it. And as I do, these will become a viable option for me. And I'll probably spec into that. But for right now, I don't think I'm going to do that. Instead, what I think I want to do is probably look at either buffing this to make myself more survivable, or we can even just keep adding here. And one thing that we do want to do is improve this. You can see here, 3 meter radius, 5.3 meter radius. That is a meaningful difference. As we build this up to max levels, it's going to get even better, right? You can see they're going to take more damage from my bleed. They're going to move slower, and it's going to get more of them. And once we get out here, it's going to fuck their LE resist. Both of my attacks are going to be hitting them harder. And if we use a corruption, it's also going to debuff their resistance to poison and acid, which we'll also be doing. So this is just a really good ability. If you are an occultist, you want to have this. It's going to do everything better. All right, so instead of talking forever, let's acknowledge the fact that we're going long, and let's get downstairs and get the next waypoint. We are going to want our storm totems to recover a little bit faster going forward, because the delay is a bit long. I don't love it. See, this is something that they're going to have maybe slightly more trouble dealing with, is kiting opponents like this. And you can also tell that these guys, their base damage type is lightning. And they probably have a shit ton of lightning resist, which is actually making it kind of tough for my damage to kill them. But we got there. We got there in the end. And you're not elite, so don't count on the same soft treatment. All right, so looky. They're lightning, and they drop these eyes. I probably have like 20 or 30 of these in my stash somewhere, but we're immediately going to switch over to this because, as you can see, lightning and electrocution damage, baby. That's what we're going to be speccing into. But that is going to be a tale for next time, because we're about to pick up the waypoint and call it a day. So without any further ado, I'm going to call this one. Thanks for joining me. Sorry about the video quality. I know it's probably still going to be dog shit, but hey, maybe I got the settings right this time. And hopefully, if you can tolerate it, I'll see you next time.